I will begin by calling the roll with Commissioner Ludlow.
Kevin Ludlow, present.
Commissioner Julie Smith, present.
Ellen Alexander, present.
W. William Smith, present.
Kathy Kiley.
Tina Stanford.
Otis Cruz, present.
Joseph Kringle, present.
Marco Polo, present.
Patrick Bailey, PIO, present. Sean Lasheen, Counsel's Office.
Steve Gilbert.
And we also have our videographer in the room with us and several public attendees. I would like to welcome you all to our monthly board business meeting. Some of you we've seen before, most of you though are new faces to us. We welcome you to our public meeting. If you don't know already from having watched our meetings in the past or heard me give this welcoming speech in the past, we don't take questions from our public attendees or engage in dialogue with you. If you have any questions based on information that you learned during this meeting or at any time, you're welcome to send them in to us in writing, and if appropriate, we will respond at our earliest convenience. But we certainly welcome your attendance, and with that, we will go into our business. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, have you had an opportunity to review our minutes from October 24th of 2016, and except for those of you who were excused absent, I would entertain a motion with respect to those minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Okay. Commissioner Cruz moves to accept the minutes as written. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Capola. Any questions or discussion? Please indicate your favor and acceptance of these minutes by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions due to absence?
I abstain.
Thank you. Commissioner J. Smith abstains. At this point, we'll go into our old business, and I'd like to begin with a brief report from our council with respect to our proposed regulations. Okay?
With respect to the regulations, as you know, we had a 45-day comment period that is now over, but we received over 400 letters, comments, emails. So right now my staff is actually going through every single letter. We're reading everything. We're putting together some information for further review. So today we are not able to vote upon it because there are just the volume of letters, and I want to make sure that we list every single argument that every single person is making. So we've got letters from all kinds of people. So
Thank you very much, Kathy. I don't have any other items of old business to continue to address for today. We do have an item of new business, and for that I want to bring forward our Deputy Counsel, Steve Gilbert, to address you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
In your packet of materials, there's a draft directive entitled Request by Staff for a Review of a Preliminary or Final Revocation Hearing. What this does is formalizes a procedure that we've had in place for a while, where if community supervision staff is concerned about something that occurred at either a preliminary or final parole revocation hearing, there's a procedure in place where they will bring it up the chain of command to their supervisors. At that point, if it's a complaint that's made at the preliminary hearing stage, it has to be reviewed at least at the bureau chief level or the regional director level. And we want them to review it, review the minutes, because oftentimes people are upset about a decision but the supervisors are just giving an anecdotal response from whoever the PO was at the hearing or whatever. This way, this puts in writing that requires that the bureau chief or RD reviews the issue in writing, reviews the minutes, and then make a determination whether it's appropriate to send up to the chief administrative law judge for review and response. We found in the past by having that level of review at the supervisory level, a lot of the things are stopped at that point and say, no, I reviewed the minutes, it was an appropriate decision. And if it is from a final revocation hearing, it goes through the PBU process up to the deputy chief of PBU, and that deputy chief will then make a determination whether it should go on to the chief administrative law judge. If there's a request for review to the chief administrative law judge, this formalizes what's been going on, where the chief ALJ will review it. He will assign it to the corresponding supervising administrative law judge for a review and report to the chief ALJ. The chief ALJ will then either consult with the chairwoman or her designee. I've been her designee, and then he would issue his findings in writing and send it back to the person who requested the review. The only thing that's added in this directive that hasn't been taken care of in the past is that community supervision has asked that Tim O'Brien, who's the director of internal operations, also be involved and make sure he gets copies of what's sent to the chief ALJ. And Tim and I will coordinate the central office to facilitate that the materials get to the chief ALJ and that there's a timely response. Again, it's not much different than what's going on now, but now at least it's in directive. And when I get the phone calls and say, well, refer to directive so-and-so, this is the procedure that you need to follow. Has it been reviewed by the bureau chief or RD? Has it been reviewed by the chief of PBU? Impact on the board is basically none, because it's all, this would all be on the chief ALJ, myself, and possibly the chairwoman on how much she wants to be involved in the process.
Some of you may remember that we spoke about this some time ago, and the recommendation from the commissioner was to submit the draft to the Bureau of Adjudication so that the supervising ALJs and the ALJs can weigh in. That has been done. In the meantime, we have started our own series of directives, and this would be our second directive added, should we vote to do so today. It does appear to be good policy. It is in keeping with an appropriate chain of command so that people aren't disgruntled without any recourse, and so that we can review the propriety of what's going on in our Bureau of Adjudication and have a record that we're doing so. So, does anyone have any specific questions about it? Do you think there's a need to table it for discussion or review? Or does someone have a motion to accept this draft and submit it to the Department of Corrections so that it can be duly added to our directives?
I would make the motion to move forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. W. Smith moves. In favor of submitting this. Second by Commissioner Cruz. Is there any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. 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 Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. We will submit it to the appropriate, I think it's internal controls, and docs that supervises the addition of directives. Thank you so much. We'll let you know when it's published.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. In terms of correspondence, I have one item, actually two that are related. I won't read the name of the individual. As has been my practice, I like to share these letters without personal information. This was written on November 20th and received in my office November 28th. It's addressed to me, but I feel like all of these are also addressed to each of us. Dear Chairwoman Stanford, I am writing on behalf of my family and myself to thank you and the other members of the November Parole Board for giving me back my life. I am committed to living a righteous life. For on my day of judgment, I would like people to say he was truly remorseful, truly grateful. He never committed another crime. Once again, thank you. Respectfully yours, signed by the individual. Now, this came from his community of support, specifically Christian Science Institutional Committee for New York State. And their letter is dated November 28th. Dear Ms. Stanford, I'm writing to thank you for the granting of parole to, and they give the individual's name. His mother called to tell me that he will be released to parole soon. She is elated, as are the members of the Christian Science Institutional Committee who have known him for many years. And she gives the name, will make us all proud. He will be a great blessing to his family and friends. I am so grateful that we will be welcoming him home. Warmest regards. And then signed by the Executive Administrator. I read these letters because I think it's an encouragement to us that our decisions make a big difference in people's lives and in their extended family and networks of support. And when we have good feedback, of course, I want to share that with you because I know how hard the work is and we need to be encouraged in our work. So I don't have any other announcements. Does anyone else have any announcements? Thank you. Then with that, I would gladly accept a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel-related matters, matters with our counsel, and matters that are otherwise confidential from the public. Is there a motion to enter into executive session and at the conclusion of executive session, adjourn our public meeting?
I move that we go into executive session.
Thank you. So moved by Commissioner Alexander and
Second.
Commissioner Ludlow's hand as a second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our public business meeting. Thank you again for your attendance. I hope you all have a safe